quick question. You said you were hitting him in the arm. Did you grab the steering wheel?
No, I didn't.
You did not touch the steering wheel?
I didn't touch the steering wheel, but only for like a second, because I just saw the lights come on, and it was more just like, you're an idiot, like, you know.
But did you grab the steering wheel and like swerve or anything like that?
No. I didn't touch the steering wheel at all.
Go ahead and close this door again. Do you have enough air back here, or do you want me to kick it up some more?
Do you have any water?
I will see if I can find something.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Gabby Petito, born March 19, 1999, was a vibrant young woman, bursting with life and ambition. Like many of her generation, Gabby was enamored with the idea of documenting her life for the world to see. Her dreams were larger than life, traversing across the United States, exploring the wilds, living in a van, and sharing her adventures on social media. She wanted to inspire others to find joy in the simple beauty of nature, to seek freedom on the open road, and to capture the ephemeral moments that make life worth living. Gabby was not alone in her dreams. Alongside her was her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. He was a quiet, seemingly introspective young man who shared her love for adventure. Their relationship, which began years earlier, seemed the epitome of young love, deep, intense, and passionate. They decided to embark on the ultimate journey together, a cross-country road trip in a white Ford Transit van, fitted with all the essentials for a life on the road. They documented their journey on Instagram and YouTube, sharing the breathtaking landscapes they encountered and the joy of their nomadic lifestyle. But as the summer of 2021 wore on, the thin veneer of joy that Gabby and Brian presented to the world began to crack. Behind the curated photos and carefully edited videos was a relationship teetering on the edge of something dark and dangerous. And as the miles stretched out behind them, the shadows of their inner demons began to close in. Gabby and Brian set off on their journey in July 2021, leaving behind the familiar comforts of their homes in Northport, Florida, to explore the vast and untamed wilderness of the American West. Their destination was the great national parks of the United States, Zion, Yellowstone, Grand Teton, and beyond. It was a trip that many could only dream of, and the young couple seemed to be living the dream. But the road, with all its promises of freedom and adventure, also held its own dangers. The isolation, the long hours in close quarters, the pressures of maintaining their social media presence, all these factors began to take a toll on Gabby and Brian's relationship. The cracks, once small and barely noticeable, began to widen. On August 12, 2021, in the small town of Moab, Utah, the first glimpse of the darkness within was revealed. A 911 call reported a domestic disturbance between Gabby and Brian. A concerned witness described a troubling scene. Gabby was seen slapping Brian, who in turn pushed her away. Police officers were dispatched, and their body cam footage captured a deeply unsettling encounter. Gabby, visibly distraught, sat in the back of a police cruiser, her voice quivering as she tried to explain the argument. She blamed herself, insisting that the stress of the trip had gotten to her. Brian, on the other hand, remained calm, almost eerily so, as he recounted their fight. The officers, unaware of the true extent of the couple's troubles, separated them for the night. Gabby took the van, while Brian stayed at a nearby hotel. The decision, made in an attempt to defuse the situation, would prove tragically insufficient. After the encounter with the police in Moab, Gabby and Brian continued their journey, moving deeper into the remote wilderness of Wyoming. The landscape around them grew more desolate, the forests thicker, the mountains taller. It was a place of stark beauty, but also one of immense isolation, a place where it was easy to disappear, where the cries for help could be swallowed by the vastness of the wild. In late August, Gabby's regular social media posts suddenly stopped. The last post on her Instagram, dated August 25th, showed her smiling in front of a mural of monarch butterflies in Ogden, Utah. The caption was simple, almost ominous in hindsight, "Happy Halloween." But behind the smile was a different reality. Gabby's contact with her family grew sporadic, with her last known communication on August 27 via text message to her mother. The message read, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls." The reference to Stan was unusual. Stan was Gabby's grandfather, but she never called him by his first name. Her mother, Nicole Schmidt, immediately felt that something was wrong. By September 1, Brian had returned to Northport, Florida, alone. He drove the van they had been traveling in, but Gabby was nowhere to be found. He offered no explanation, no apology. Instead, he immediately lawyered up, refusing to speak to Gabby's family or the police. The Laundrie family, including Brian, retreated behind closed doors, their silence as heavy and impenetrable as a tomb. Gabby's parents, frantic with worry, reported her missing on September 11, 2021. Their world began to crumble as the realization set in: their daughter, once so full of life, was missing, and the one person who might have answers was hiding behind a wall of silence. The search for Gabby Petito became a nationwide obsession. Her story gripped the hearts of millions, who watched in horror as the details of her disappearance unfolded. Social media was flooded with posts, theories, and pleas for information. Internet sleuths scoured the web, analyzing every photo, every video, and every interaction between Gabby and Brian. The case became a true crime phenomenon, but beneath the public's fascination was a real family's agony. The FBI, local law enforcement, and volunteers launched an exhaustive search for Gabby, focusing on the last known location of the couple, Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. Days turned into a nightmarish blur for Gabby's family, who clung to the hope that she might still be alive. On September 19, 2021, that hope was shattered. A body was discovered in Bridger Teton National Forest, near an area known as Spread Creek. The remains were identified as Gabby Petito. The autopsy revealed the cause of death: homicide by strangulation. Gabby had been dead for weeks, her body left to the elements in the cold, unforgiving wilderness. As the nation mourned the loss of Gabby, the hunt for Brian Laundrie intensified. He had vanished just days before Gabby was reported missing, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. The Laundrie family's refusal to cooperate with the investigation only fueled the public's anger and suspicion. Brian's whereabouts were a mystery, and the possibility that he might evade justice loomed large. The search for Brian Laundrie became one of the most extensive manhunts in recent history. The Carlton Reserve in Florida, a sprawling, swampy wilderness, became the focus of the search. It was a place of impenetrable forests, murky waters, and hidden dangers, a place where one could easily disappear. The FBI, along with local law enforcement, scoured the reserve, using drones, dogs, and divers to comb the treacherous terrain. But the vastness of the swamp, combined with the dense foliage and unpredictable weather, made the search a daunting task. Days turned into weeks, and still, there was no sign of Brian. As the search dragged on, the case took a surreal turn when Dwayne Chapman, better known as Dog the Bounty Hunter, joined the hunt. With his long blonde hair, sunglasses, and reputation as a relentless tracker of fugitives, Dog brought a new level of intensity to the manhunt. His involvement, while criticized by some, captured the imagination of the public, adding a layer of spectacle to an already sensational case. Dog's efforts, however, would prove as fruitless as those of law enforcement. Brian Laundrie remained elusive, a phantom in the swamp, slipping through the grasp of those who sought him. After weeks of searching, hope for finding Brian Laundrie alive began to fade. Then, on October 20, 2021, in a haunting twist, human remains were discovered in the Carlton Reserve, near an area previously underwater. The remains were identified as Brian Laundrie through dental records. Beside Brian's body was a backpack and a notebook, weathered and damaged by the elements. The contents of the notebook, though not immediately released to the public, were later revealed to contain a confession, a final, chilling admission of guilt. Brian had written of the events leading up to Gabby's death, detailing the moments of anger and violence that ended in murder. He described how he took her life, the suffocating grip that silenced her forever. The discovery of Brian's remains brought a grim closure to the case, but it also left behind a lingering sense of unease. There were no more answers, no more questions to be asked. The horror story had reached its end, but the shadows it cast would linger long after the final chapter was written. The Gabby Petito case will be remembered for years to come, a modern-day horror tale that unfolded in real time before the eyes of the world. It is a story of love turned toxic, of trust betrayed, and of a young life cut short by violence. But it is also a story of how the dark side of human nature can manifest in the most ordinary of lives, and how the veneer of happiness can conceal deep-seated darkness. Gabby's death is not just the tragic end of a young woman's life but also a chilling reminder of how easily dreams can turn into nightmares. Her journey, once filled with the promise of adventure and freedom, became a descent into a harrowing ordeal that culminated in her untimely death. The brutality of her final moments, strangled in the vast, indifferent wilderness, haunts the imagination, a stark contrast to the images of her joyful spirit that once filled her social media feeds. The public, captivated by the unfolding drama, became both witness and participant in a real-life horror story. Gabby's family, through their grief, channeled their pain into a mission to help others. The Gabby Petito Foundation was established to aid families of missing persons, ensuring that Gabby's legacy would be one of hope and support, even in the face of tragedy. Yet, the specter of Brian Laundrie's escape into the wilderness, his subsequent death, and the discovery of his confessional writings only deepened the sense of dread that pervades the story. His death, by his own hand, in a desolate swamp, left so many questions unanswered. Was it an act of cowardice or a final, desperate bid for control? The notebook he left behind offered some insights but no real closure. It was as if the horror story had no true end, leaving behind only fragments of the truth. The case also brought to light the darker sides of social media and the internet's relentless obsession with true crime. Armchair detectives, while sometimes helpful, often blurred the line between seeking justice and exploiting tragedy for entertainment. Gabby's life and death became a macabre spectacle, dissected and analyzed by millions, her memory caught in the relentless churn of the digital world. As the world moved on, the shadows of Gabby Petito's story continued to linger. The campsite where her body was found became a place of pilgrimage for those who followed the case, some seeking closure, others simply morbid curiosity. The Carlton Reserve, once a quiet place of natural beauty, now holds the echoes of the manhunt, the desperate search for a man who knew too much and said too little. For Gabby's family, the horror is never-ending. The images of Gabby that once brought joy now serve as painful reminders of what was lost. They are haunted by the what-ifs, the could-have-beens, and the knowledge that their daughter's life was extinguished by someone she trusted, someone they had welcomed into their lives. And so, the Gabby Petito case remains a chilling tale in the annals of true crime, a story of innocence lost, of dreams shattered, and of the darkness that can reside in the most unlikely places. It is a cautionary tale, a reminder that even in the most beautiful landscapes, monsters can lurk around, waiting to turn a journey of a lifetime into a nightmare from which there is no escape. The case of Gabby Petito is a horror story not because it is fiction, but because it is real. It is the story of a young woman whose life was cruelly taken from her, and of a world that watched, helplessly, as the tragedy unfolded. It is a story that will continue to resonate, a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the ever-present shadow of violence that can strike when we least expect it. In the end, Gabby Petito's story is a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, to her love of life, her desire to explore the world, and the way she touched the hearts of millions. Even in death, her story has the power to inspire, to caution, and to remind us all of the importance of kindness, vigilance, and the need to cherish those we love while they are still with us.